I read an article about men and women in leadership positions and on whether or not there really was a difference about how men and women lead. And the article states that the science does not really conclude that men and women lead that differently, that it's really perhaps more like personality type specific. Now, there's only one flaw with this article, because it doesn't put into consideration that we're not considered as equal, when it comes to leadership. That all the systems are built by men for men, which is what I call the old men's code. And when we started throwing women toward that system, women broke the system. And then the man got angry and said, "Hey, you broke our system." And then the women said, "Your system isn't working because it's not working for us." So when we look at the data, or when we are establishing the data, I think it's important for us to look at what is sort of the baseline that we're operating from. And if I were to say the baseline is equality, then I could say, in my ideal case, and I work on balanced leadership and the ROI of balanced leadership, I would say ultimately the goal, of course, is that we are looking at this from a unisex perspective, because is empathy really that different from leadership versus strategy or logical execution? And do we really truly believe that women are not logical, or that all women are emotional? All women are emotional. So once we've established the female and the male version of leadership, we will actually have a whole different conversation about what leadership looks like, or what attributes leadership has. And then we will declare boldly that there are female and male aspects that go into leadership, which is just totally logical. That really makes the most sense of all of it, to say 50% of the population are men, 50% of the population are women. Actually, it's 51 women and 49 men. That both have to be bringing something to the table that they know. Otherwise, we'd believe all women are idiots, or we would say all men are idiots, and that, obviously cannot be the case. So there has to be something in each one of, these female or male traits that we take into consideration and that stands out. And why not declare that certain attributes are more female-centric and other attributes are more male-centric? But, now we go and praise men who have compassion. Wow, that's really dramatic, that we now have to point out when a man actually has compassion or practices empathy, because, we assume that they all have difficulties with it. I know men who are plenty empathetic, or have plenty of compassion. So I want to get ultimately away from these assumptions and prove that leadership just has a male and female component. However, to get there, I think we need to first establish what female leadership is. Tell me what you think about this idea. Is there a difference in male or female leadership in your experience? And if there is, what is it? Or do you reject the idea that there are female and male components to leadership altogether? I'd love to hear from you. And as you can tell, I'm musing while driving. For somehow, it seems to be super easy for me to do videos in the car, as I'm just like talking away. But I wanted to reach out and say hello. So please let me know what your thoughts are on these specific questions. See you later. Bye-bye.